We have a very fun program for you for the next hour. It is our Kittens and Baking finale. And we have so many great special guests for you. We've got bakers, we've got kittens, and then at 4 o'clock, we've got Erin Jeanne McDowell, who's going to be sending us off for the holidays with a special Christmas tune. And we'll even get a little cameo from her pup, Brimley, who some of you know if you follow Erin on Instagram. Before we get to Christina Ha, our baker, I would like to thank our sponsors, Kerrygold and Amazon Home. They have been wonderful sponsors, and they have sponsored all our Holiday Baking Extravaganza programming. I know a lot of you know and love Kerrygold as much as I do, and Christina's going to be baking with it, so we're going to see how she uses Kerrygold in just a moment. And Amazon Home, I've ordered a lot from Amazon Home over the years and over the past few months. And one of my favorite things that we used to have in the Cherry Bomb office, when we had a Cherry Bomb office, were our cherry pillows. So you can still get these on Amazon, which is amazing. I still love these, so I'll put those back over there. So we're gonna bake for the next 30 minutes, then we're gonna meet some kittens who are up for adoption. And I would like to welcome to the screen Christina Ha, who is the co-founder of both Macaron Parlour and Meow Parlor. Christina, can you join us? Hi, Christina.
How are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's so good to see you. So as I mentioned, Christina is the co-founder of Meow Parlor, which was New York City's very first cat cafe. And Meow Parlor is closed right now, but Christina and her husband, Simon, I was going to say Christina and her team, which is basically Christina and Simon and their families, have been taking care of so many cats and kittens during the pandemic. Over the course of Christina's cat career, I don't know what else to call it, Christina, can you tell people how many cats you have found homes for? This is a remarkable number.
Yeah, we've helped over 800 cats get adopted.
That is incredible. Christina, tell us, what was it that made you fall in love with cats and want to help them?
Honestly, I never expected to have a cat.
Mm-hmm.
When we first opened Macaron Parlor, it was very stressful because that's just how opening a new business is. And, when we finally decided that we should allow ourselves to go home early, we walked home and there was a cat there. And he was on the street, and Simon was like, well, I think he should be inside, and his name is Mr. Socks. And so
it all began with Mr. Socks, right?
Yes. Yeah, it was incredible. And I remember thinking like, oh, Mr. Socks is here, and that I wouldn't fall in love. And it only took us like a couple of months to be like, well, now we need all the cats.
So 800 cats. I mean, that is remarkable by anyone's standards. Christina mentioned their other business, Macaron Parlor. Macaron Parlor is a great, you had several locations in the city. Today, it's pretty much a custom business, right, Christina? And people order macaroons directly from you?
So now we're down to just one. Due to the pandemic, our doors are closed, but we've been selling online. We launched this year a whole line of vegan macarons, which has been doing great and has been a lot of fun. Challenging in different ways, but still very fun to make. So it's been really nice, I think, to be able to see the support of people. Usually working in the kitchen, you don't get those interactions, but now I see these little messages that show up when we get orders in, and there's these nice notes that come in, and people are so nice and so kind, and they understand how hard it is to run a small business. So it's so meaningful to be able to get that, because when people are ordering from us, it's very intentional. Mm-hmm. And I love the feeling that people know exactly what it's going to, who they're supporting, and all of those things.
Well, you know how much I love your macaroons. I should tell folks that Christina and I go way back. Christina was the very first pastry chef at one of the restaurants I owned, and at Smith Canteen, my old coffee shop, which a lot of you have heard me talk about. So I know firsthand what an incredible baker Christina is. And I still remember when I met Simon. We're going to meet Simon in a little while, Christina's husband. But I went to the Hester Street Fair in Lower East Side, Chinatown, and there was Simon at the Macaron Parlor table. And I loved macaroons so much, and not a lot of people in the city were making macaroons back then. So Simon and I started talking macaroons, and that was the start of a beautiful friendship. So yeah. And Christina has been a great friend to Cherry Bomb too. Christina's been in the magazine. Christina has spoken at Jubilee. She's been on radio. So Christina, just thanks for being such a good friend over the years.
Oh, thank you. I mean, thanks for having, faith in someone you didn't meet yet, who was so young at the time. I remember coming home and there was your business card was on my bed, and Simon's like, she's important. He's like, I don't know why, and I don't know how she will be, but he was like, she's important, so you should look at this. And I remember you sent me an email, and I was like, I've never met this person before, but I was like, she has a lot of faith that this could work out, and it did.
Oh, and that was even before Cherry Bomb. I was working at Lancôme, and we were so excited to meet a macaroon maker so we could send these wonderful little French cookies to everybody we knew. Okay, we're going to jump into the baking part because I know that's what a lot of folks are tuning in to see. Christina is going to be making her brownies, and she has the most incredible brownie recipe. I made it yesterday, and it was everything. It took everything not to eat all the batter and then not to eat all the brownies. I had to give them out to some folks in my building so I wouldn't eat them all. We would love to hear your questions. So everybody knows a lot of you have been with us on the whole journey so far. Just you can chat. Which way is the chat box? You can comment in the chat, anything you want. And then there's the Q&A box. So if you've got specific questions about Christina's recipe, and then as we meet the kittens later, if you've got questions about adopting kittens, you can just drop questions in the Q&A box. Okay, everybody. And in the meantime, as we get started, I would love for you to just tell us in the chat where you are tuning in from. I know some folks have already told us where they are joining us from. I see Seattle is one of the cities, but let us know where else. I am in Brooklyn, and Christina is in Chinatown, right, Christina? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so Christina, over to you. Let's make these brownies.
Awesome. So it's actually a pretty simple recipe in the grand scheme of things. There's nothing so incredibly special about them besides how they taste. So I love that. I love the idea that like I could take this and go to anyone's house and just like pop by a Whole Foods, be able to pick up all of the ingredients and just make this happen. So I don't have to, do anything special. And so that's one of those things that I really love about this. So I actually start with semi-sweet chocolate, and I've tossed them in a bowl, and this might be loud because the microphone's here. And
this ASMR, Christina, for everybody.
Oh yeah, there we go. And then I take unsweetened chocolate and I add them in, and I do a combination of both because I really like the sweetness of, the semi-sweet chocolate. But honestly, like if you've never had semi-sweet and unsweetened chocolate together, it's so rich and it hits all these different notes, and it's so incredible. It'll take anything that you've ever made with chocolate in it and bring it to a whole new level. So you could take any recipe you've ever done that's like just like brownies or just has chocolate in it, throw in some unsweetened, and it's just a completely different product at the end. So, and then I toss this in together, and like a little secret is like you don't actually have to chop anything up either. So
I chopped everything.
What? Yeah, no, I'm actually, it's faster if you do, but I'm lazy sometimes. And so if I can get away with not doing it, I will. So I chopped it up for this, but you can actually just throw it together and put it on a double boiler to start with. And this is the first thing that you do, because if you start off doing it that way, by the time you measure everything else out, it should be done.
Great. Can you just tell folks, I know we've got a lot of really experienced bakers out there, but I think we do have a few kids joining us today because of the kittens. Can you explain what a double boiler is? And if you don't own a proper one, how do you MacGyver it at home?
Oh, I don't own a proper one either. So this is a pot. I put a little bit of water at the bottom. You can't really see it, but I put about an inch of water at the bottom. And then I will take this and put it on top. So this basically, water can't get above boiling point. Like you'll never have water that's 300 degrees. It just turns into steam at that point. So it's a very consistent way to heat up your chocolate and to melt anything, just because you always know what the temperature is going to be. You don't have to, it's not like putting it on a pot on top of the stove, because you have no idea what that temperature is.
Okay.
So this is like a great thing that I love. You have this going, you put it to the side, you set it, you forget it. Your only thing that you have to worry about is it might run out of water, and then you just replenish it. So I put my chocolates in there, and then I put in my Kerrygold butter. And the thing about butter is you would think with all this chocolate that it doesn't, maybe the butter flavor won't come through, and it actually really does. The better your butter is, the better it complements your chocolate. So when you have a really good butter, it makes it an even richer flavor, and it just keeps complementing it. So like I'm always like you might think, oh, I'll just go cheap on the butter. Like absolutely not.
Don't cheap out on the chocolate or the butter.
Yeah, Kerrygold has a fantastic butter, and it has so much flavor to it. So it's going to really, really complement it, and it'll be great. So I'm going to toss this in there.
Do you need to babysit this as it's
No. I am a big fan of not babysitting things. Personally, it's like if I could get away with setting something up and going and doing other things in the meantime, I will do it that way.
Okay.
I think it's just, I do a lot of different things. So as much as I can to not make it complicated for anyone, to not make anyone freak out over baking, like let's do it that way. So I take this, put it over here, then I'll put it to the side and it will melt. Well, I'll put it on a stove and it'll melt.
And how high a flame should you put this over?
I usually put it on medium to start. And then if I remember, I'll bring it down low, but I usually don't remember, honestly. So I'm going to set this aside now.
Okay, terrific. Now I should point out that you might be like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of chocolate and that's a lot of butter, but you can have the recipe. I halved it at home, and it makes mine made a dozen brownies, but I guess it's all on how you cut it and how big you cut them. But
Yeah.
Your recipe that's on cherrybomb.com right now makes about 24 brownies.
Yeah, depending on how you cut it.
Mm-hmm.
Or technically it could be one really big brownie. So depends on how you look at it. All right,
So tell us what's next. Whoa, big bowl.
Well, it doesn't have to be this big of a bowl, but if it's a small bowl, I would have been really embarrassed if I knocked it out and it spilled over. So I was like, well, it'll be a lot safer in this big bowl. I'm going to take 8 eggs. I'm going to put it in here.
Sabra is asking, what size pan did I use for the half recipe? So it calls for a proper half sheet pan. So I had a quarter sheet pan. I think it was about 8 or 9 by 13. Does that sound right, Christina?
Yeah.
So Sabra, if you have that, you can use that. But Christina, you can also put these in like a traditional brownie pan. You don't have to use a sheet tray, right?
Sure. It's not gonna catch on fire just because you switch the pan. It's when you switch the pan, the only thing you just have to consider is that it'll affect the time that you bake it for. So if you're putting it into a pan that is technically smaller, then it'll be a thicker brownie. So you just might have to bake it a couple minutes longer. And I wouldn't recommend going for a thinner brownie. It's about probably half an inch. If you go thinner, technically you could bake it for less time. I don't know why you would go for a thinner brownie.
Mine were thinner, but maybe it's because I ate a little bit of the batter.
They're a pretty thin brownie to begin with. And I kind of like it that way because you could get creative and throw it into a lot more things than you would think.
Oh, we'll talk about that. All right. So what goes in the bowl?
So I'm starting with my eggs. I'm going to put in my white sugar and my brown sugar. So technically, usually I just use this on a mixer, but it's really loud if I did it that way, and you wouldn't be able to ask me questions. So I'm going to do it this way. My first job that I ever had was at a cafe. Oh, I'm popping all the egg yolks because I just like doing that. Was at a cafe, and when I was at the cafe, we had hand-whipped whipped cream. That was one of our specialty items to go with our hot chocolate, which sounds great until you're the person who's actually hand whipping the whipped cream. And I worked there during Christmas, so every order involved some whipped cream. And every single day, I would be whipping this whipped cream. And it was so intensive that I only worked on the weekends. And by the time I got back to work on Friday, my arm still hurt from the week before.
Oh no.
So I'm okay with whipping because that's like a thing that I've done. But I get this isn't like an ideal situation, but I liked showing that you could do it this way because otherwise you might feel obligated to have a mixer, but you don't need it. You could do this at home with just.
I have a hand mixer, so I used my hand mixer. My KitchenAid mixer is in storage, but it looks like you have 2 KitchenAid mixers.
Oh, that's just for show. I have a lot more, and I have a 30-quart mixer too.
Wow. Okay. And I like that they're white. You know what I do like about mixing dough by hand though, is I feel like, especially when you're starting out and learning about baking, I know over the past week, we've had a lot of folks tell us that they're trying to become better bakers. I do feel like it's good for you to know how it feels before you give it over to a machine. So I do think the first few times you make a recipe, it's, I don't know. I think there's something really lovely about making it by hand if you can.
Totally. And it's one of those things that's, I think, really great. I love doing things the hard way first, so I can see how to make it easier over time. And so you better understand what's going on and why. So for this one, I'm just like breaking up some of these brown sugar chunks are still a little chunky, but I'm mixing this with the hope to take it from this, like, whatever this color is to a lighter color, and it'll get thicker. So the better that this whips up, you know when you see brownies and it has that like really shiny skin on top, that's from this. This is the process that gets you there. So because I didn't know that at first.
When I did my chocolate and butter over the double boiler, it was so glossy. I couldn't believe it. It was like a mirror. And I thought that's where the shininess came from.
Yeah, I used to as well until, you know, in the very beginning when I was making brownies by hand, they didn't get the skin. Mm-hmm. And so I kept Googling. I was like, where's the skin? Where do I find it? And this was the thing that changed it.
Okay. So if you were to put this, if you were to use a hand mixer or put it in say a KitchenAid type mixer, how long would you do it?
Probably for a couple of minutes. Maybe it depends on how fast you go, but I would say probably like 4 or 5 minutes, medium speed.
Oh, good. Oh, Allison, our friend Allison just popped in. She said, I never use a mixer or whisk for my brownies. I use a wooden spoon. I love my wooden spoon. Old school. I mix the batter in the pot that I melt the chocolate and butter in. It's a good thing that Allison just popped in here. Allison, I don't know if you heard us a few demos ago, but you won the Amazon Home $250 gift certificate. So you and I need to touch base after this because we need to send you the code. So congratulations for that. That's cool because $250, you can buy a lot on Amazon Home. You can everything you need to make these brownies or a few other things. So congrats, Allison, and thank you, Amazon Home. That was a very generous gift that you gave us. All right. So what
prize.
I know, right? That's a lot of, you know what I buy a lot of on Amazon is my pet supplies. So that's, that would be a lot of kitty litter and cat food.
Yeah, the Amazon subscription is so amazing. Partly because of the discount, but also because I don't have to think about it. So I get all my cat stuff put on subscription. Yeah. As soon as they're like, I like this, I'm like, okay, subscription now.
You certainly go through a lot more cat stuff than the average cat lady, which we will talk about. Okay, so what, do we need to go check on our butter and our chocolate, or that's okay over there?
I just let it. If I don't smell something weird, then it's good. So it's nice because it looks a little weird if you just set it and leave it. Your butter will separate and your chocolate will be sitting at the bottom. And it's like, it looks odd, but it's not. It's not so bad. And usually I find that the thing that takes the longest to melt is actually the butter and not the unsweetened chocolate. So if I can see that the butter is melted, then I know that I'm good to go. And then once I take it off, I give it a little bit of a stir.
Great.
So,
you know, you were talking about the semi-sweet and the sweet chocolate combination. These are so fudgy and chocolatey. I was trying to describe them to someone, and it makes a real luscious brownie. It's not chewy, it's not cakey. It's very kind of dense and fudgy, but it's not too sweet, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. And I think that's like a thing that I always struggled with at Smith Canteen, was trying to make sure that things weren't too sweet. So adding a lot of like different notes to it was always important. So
I had the sweet tooth, so I was happy for anything sweet.
I have a really bad sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So I was like, if it's too sweet for me, it's probably too sweet for most people. So, all right. So you see, this is like a lighter color. It's got some bubbles in it. It's very shiny and pretty loose. I'm just gonna keep going, but I'm basically, this recipe doesn't have any leavening in it. So this process of adding air to this mixture is the only leavening that it gets.
I don't think I mixed mine enough, because when you started, it was kind of like a gingerbread color, and now it's more golden. I don't think I got it all the way to the golden stage.
So we are good here. I'm gonna just put this aside for a second. I'm gonna pull out my chocolate bar.
So Cherry Bomb, that's got to be Kat or Donna, is asking, is the sugar totally dissolved, or do you want it to still have some graininess?
I can hear the graininess of it scraping across the bottom. I think if I had mixed it until it dissolved, I would have been here the entire day. So I'm looking for basically like bubbles and for it to be a lighter color. This is obviously easier with a mixer, but by hand, it's really not so bad.
Okay.
And so my butter, and I don't know if I can show this. Can you see it? Yep. So it's separated out. But it's fine. That's exactly what it should be. Okay. I like to mix it around a little bit before adding it in, because mostly because otherwise I don't want it to be too splashy.
Right.
I just don't like when things splash.
And let me ask you a question. Can you ever get the butter or chocolate too hot to add to the egg mixture? Is there any danger of it curdling the eggs?
Well, I don't think so, mostly because it's because the double boiler prevents it from ever getting that hot. And with chocolate, you don't want it to get it too hot anyway, because it'll burn. So that's one of the reasons why the double boiler is such a great concept. So this will never get so hot that you're going to cook anything. If my word of advice is, if you touch this and it's too hot for you to handle, don't handle it. I think it's just like one of those things where it's like, don't hurt yourself over brownies. And there's nothing wrong with setting it aside. As long as it doesn't get like so cold that it becomes solid again, you're still good to go.
Okay.
So it's not fully combined, but it's in a much better place now. And I'm going to just basically pour this in. And
mine's so pretty at this stage. It looked like a painting, because the chocolate formed like a perfect circle right on top of the egg and sugar mixture.
Oh yeah, it could have looked like an espresso drink.
Yeah, almost.
It's reverse.
We have a question from Abby. Is there a difference between using chocolate versus cocoa powder?
So I like using chocolate because it comes with, like, cocoa powder is just cocoa powder. The chocolate comes with a lot of other ingredients in it that all add their own different elements in terms of flavor. So I find that brownies that are made with chocolate both come out denser, and they have like all these different notes in it in terms of the flavor. And personally, like, I just like my brownies to be a lot more dense, mostly because I prefer them with ice cream. So it's like, if I wanted a cake, I would have gone for a chocolate cake. I wouldn't have gone for a cakey brownie.
Okay.
So it adds a lot more structure to it. It adds a lot more flavor to it. It makes it a much firmer product. And I just like it, with the two different chocolates versus cocoa powder.
All right. So tell us how you combine these two.
Okay. So I have this in here. I brought back my whisk friend, and I'm just going to whisk this back together. And I'm not looking for anything fancy. I just want it to be combined. If it's got streaks in it, you're not done yet. And like a thing that I always notice with whisking is that I tend to whisk around the outside and I always forget the middle. So consciously I have to go into the middle and remember that. And as you do this, it's going to get shinier and shinier and nice and thick and become this beautiful glossy batter.
I noticed, Christina, you are moving the bowl. I've seen a lot of chefs do that.
Yeah, so I like moving the bowl instead of moving my arm. So I can keep my arm in the same spot doing its thing, and then I just move it. I guess it might make sense if I could do it like this, then I wouldn't have to move the bowl, but I can't do that.
It's a chefy thing.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna add my flour and mix this in very slowly. You saw before I was using a whisk. This I'm using a spatula so that I could fold it in. And honestly, with this recipe, so this is flour and salt, but with this recipe, you can substitute the flour out with gluten-free flour.
Oh, you can. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not, because of the chocolate, it doesn't actually provide a lot of structural support compared to other recipes. So this, we've definitely subbed it out before and you can't even tell.
Do you have a favorite gluten-free flour?
We actually make our own gluten-free flour. We are not so far away from a bunch of Chinese supermarkets, so we're able to get a lot of really good ingredients, and we make our own. My sister, I think around, not the sister you'll see today, but another one, around the time I was at Smith Canteen, became gluten intolerant. And I think back then there weren't a lot of options. So we made our own, and since then we still keep to that. But this, I think, honestly, you could use any sort of gluten-free flour.
Okay. And have you experimented with other kinds of flours, buckwheat, things like that?
Not in this brownie recipe, and not that frequently. Honestly, the majority of what we do is macarons, which already is gluten-free. So we don't really have to get into that world. But so I combine this, and it's all in there.
Oh, it must smell so good in there right now.
It does. There's sometimes, like, this happens every now and then, these little like flour chunks will surface. Even if you have your final product and you see a flour chunk in there, it really doesn't taste like anything. So it's not the end of the world. So from here, I do this in a half sheet tray. So, and I use a parchment to prevent it from sticking so that it's easy.
We have a visitor.
Say
hi, Dust. Hello. No, Christina's there. All right.
Honor, Dusty. So I take my nonstick spray and I spray like crazy.
Okay.
You don't want it to stick. And then I take this and this is a sheet of parchment. And I put it on top. And then I spray it again.
Now, I don't have any Pam at home, so I just used extra butter with my fingers, and I coated the pan, put on the parchment, and I coated the parchment with butter.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Anything you could do that makes it less sticky is ideal. So I'm just gonna pour this in. This is an awkward angle for me, so I'll have to turn it around eventually. But it's this beautiful drip.
Can you see Christina?
Hi, Dusty.
Hi, hello.
Oh, she's so pretty.
No, she's a sweetheart.
Okay.
This was my favorite part, smoothing it around. What are you trying to do?
It's very therapeutic. And for like a very easy recipe, it's like a nice way to be like, and now I'm done. Okay.
I left a lot more in the bowl so that I could eat it afterwards. Even though we're not supposed to eat things with raw egg in it,
I was about to say, I do the same thing, but I know we're not supposed to talk about it.
Right.
So from here, then I just take my spatula, and usually what I do is I'll bring it to the corners first. Because I pour it down the middle, that'll be the place that's more full. So I'll bring it to the corners. If anything doesn't look smooth, then I'll take care of it here. And get all my friends in there. Okay.
Oh, interesting. Candace just said she loves the bitterness of chocolate along with the sweet. We started adding a bit of Turkish coffee to create an even more dramatic note of mystery. I love that.
Yeah. No, totally. That's definitely a thing that you could do that adds to the flavor and is the thing that's like hidden, because people are like, I don't know why it tastes like that. And they don't know what it is. And you're like, ha, I have a secret for you. So from here, I usually just take it and I'll just tap it a little bit, release any air bubbles. And then you're good to go. So the nice thing about this is that you can actually freeze it at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you could take it and you could throw it. Well, what I'll do is I'll take it and I'll throw it in the freezer. And when it's like less sticky, then I'll cover it in plastic wrap.
Okay.
And
so we have a question, Christina. Kate wants to know, can you substitute almond flour for the all-purpose flour?
You know, honestly, probably. I don't think the flour provides that much structure because of all the chocolate that's involved. So I'm pretty sure you could probably do almond flour.
Okay.
Not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure. So you can definitely freeze this at this point. And when you do that, when you bake it, you could go from freezer to oven. And I would just add probably an extra like 3 to 4 minutes in the oven. Or you could bake this and then freeze it and always have it ready for you when you're ready for ice cream. So there's a lot of options. So from here, I will take this and put it in the oven. And it's when I know that it's done partly because the time is listed there, but also you could take a knife and just kind of poke it in there at some point. And when you pull it out, if it's not too, if it's not wet and it comes out and it's clean, you're good to go. And because it's a very thin brownie, it'll finish cooking and you don't have to worry about it having like these secret spots where it's not going to be cooked. And honestly, if it's undercooked, it's delicious too.
Yeah. It was so pretty. I didn't want to put a knife in it, but I noticed for mine, it was when the batter started to pull away from the sides.
Yeah.
That it was ready.
It like pulls away and then it like puffs up. So let's put this in the oven. And
mine cooked in exactly 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So my big question, Christina, was once I took it out of the oven, how long does it need to set and when do I cut them?
So I take them out of the oven. I actually leave it on the rack until it's cool to handle. Before, when I first started, it usually didn't last that long. Usually I just took it from there and I put it on the table. And I had, because it was still hot, I had my ice cream separate. So I just used my spoon and I went back and forth. But that's not good for you. So that's fine too. Like if they don't survive it to cutting, that's totally fine. But if I want to cut them, I actually toss them in the freezer to get them to set up.
Oh, that's a great trick because I did find they're so fudgy that I had to do like cut one part and then I had to clean my knife and cut another part.
So I'm gonna, because this is like TV. Wow, it came out of the oven already.
Beautiful. Look at that.
So this came out of the oven earlier. And I put it into the freezer and it's cold still, not super cold because I took it out maybe like 20, 30 minutes ago. So I take a bench scraper and I just release the edges.
Gosh, you chefs and your bench scrapers. Everybody, every demo we've done, you've all had a bench scraper. And I think if I order anything from Amazon after this, it's going to be batteries for my scale, my kitchen scale, and a bench scraper.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I like to release all the sides. This one doesn't feel like it's going to come out all that clean because it's not super hard. But
can I tell you what I did because I am not as confident?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't be handling it like that, I would be afraid the whole thing would come apart, but you've done this a million times. I put a little bit of extra parchment paper so it kind of flipped over the sides.
Yeah.
So that when it was ready, I was able to just kind of jimmy it out and slide it.
And then just slide it into your mouth.
Were you here watching? Yes, basically.
So from here, if you want, you could pull out the parchment. You actually don't have to, because it'll pop out from the parchment pretty easily. So this is the knife that I use.
Whoa.
Which is actually a pizza knife. But it's like just the right length of the half sheet tray. So one of the things I love about food is like you just find these tools that are not meant for the thing that you wanted it to meet, and then you just use it. So I'm gonna use this. Actually, I'm gonna use this container. So I take all my scraps and I put it here, and I usually start by cutting off the edges. And like the edges, I'll just give to someone to eat.
I have my edges right here.
Nice. And before we used to take the edges and then just smash them in the bottom of a half sheet tray and then cover it with a chewy caramel. And then on top of that, cover it with, basically it was white chocolate with peanut butter and feuilletine, which are those little crunchy cookies. And then we took that and we cut them into bars, and it were these like foul bars. They were so delicious, and they were so good. And it was just made of brownie scraps. Like that whole idea came from, what do I do with the edges of brownies?
So we have a question from Melissa. Have you made them to be thicker? So let's say you make that full amount of batter and you put it in a smaller pan.
Yeah, I personally have not made them to be, not this recipe, but I've made other brownie recipes with chocolate in it to be thicker, and it's basically the same because there's no leavening in it. It's just as dense. It doesn't become fluffy all of a sudden. There's no like tipping point. It's just a matter of your baking time.
Oh my God. These are so good. It's crazy. Emily said, I love saving brownie scraps in a bag in the freezer, and then I microwave them to top ice cream with.
Yep. There's a lot of fun things you could do with brownie scraps. And these are at least these like really nice brownie scraps that aren't too dry. And there's no reason why you wouldn't eat them. The only reason I cut them off is so I could save them for other things.
So like I mentioned, I gave these to some of the guys in my building because I was like, I got to get these out of here or else I'm going to eat every single one of these brownies. I should have just put them in the freezer. But when I packaged them up for them, I separated them with wax paper.
Yep.
Little squares of wax paper I cut because they really are so dense and fudgy. I was worried they were just going to become one mass.
And it's funny because we always feel that way. We always feel like, oh, I want to make sure that it arrives and it's beautiful. But like, I've never given some like a brownie to someone and they're like, well, it wasn't shiny. they still get excited. Like it still tastes like a brownie. Like, I just love that it's one of those things where your expectations aren't so high. And like a lot of people have had bad brownies before. So
I love this knife, Christina.
It's so convenient.
You look like a kitchen superhero. I love it. Christina's baking alongside with us. That's great. The chocolate mixture smells amazing. Kerrygold butter makes all the difference. Absolutely.
It really does.
Okay. All right. So we are going to wrap up our brownie segment. So that is gorgeous. All right. So tell us about storing these.
Okay. So honestly, personally, I would take these and kind of slide it back to a half sheet tray and just throw it into the freezer. You could also stack them with wax paper in between. There is a risk that if you just kind of stack them without the wax paper, that'll just become one giant brownie, which is not the worst thing in the world, but not necessarily what you're looking for. So just making sure that like it's separated from being stacked. You could take them and you could put them in a Ziploc bag and throw them in the freezer. Like you could do a lot of different things. They store beautifully. Okay. They're delicious. They're most delicious when they're really cold and when they're really hot. They're very good at room temperature. But I think personally, I like them more at the extreme ends.
Okay.
So like even if you freeze it and you just pop it out and you just take a bite of it, it's like hard but good.
Oh, we've got a request. Can we see it close up for 1 second?
So I don't know how, can you see this?
Nice. Yes, you can run around and show them closer. And then we're going to get one more look at these brownies, and then Christina is going to run next door, and it's time to meet some kittens. Nice. Those are beautiful. All right, everybody. And so easy to make. If you are baking before Christmas, after Christmas, whatever, definitely put this on your list to make. They're delicious and they're fun, and you'll feel like a professional baker.
Yeah.
Okay, Christina, we're going to welcome Simon. Simon, are you out there? Simon Tung? Hey, Simon.
I'm here
Hello.
with Sprinkles.
Oh my gosh. All right. You might want to, if everybody knows how to do the pin video option, you might want to pin the video. Oh my goodness. I love the sprinkles. Oh, Simon, do we get to see your face for a minute?
Yes,
our friends
sorry.
who don't
I was
know
supposed to start off like this.
Hi, Simon. So this is my good friend, Simon Tung.
Mm-hmm.
Simon is the co-founder of Macaron Parlour. He is, you are part of the heart and soul of Meow Parlor. You, along with your wife, Christina, have saved hundreds of cats, and you two are just remarkable. I should also point out, Simon has saved my life on more than one occasion. Professionally. He's the one I called whenever anything went wrong at my coffee shop, which was basically once a week. And Simon was always ready with advice, with the name of somebody who sold secondhand equipment, whatever it was. So Simon, thank you for being my rock for so long.
No, you're welcome. It was my pleasure. It's my pleasure. I love helping out. So I'm all about it. I'm all about it.
Got a big heart. So let's talk about Meow Parlor. So like I said, this was New York City's very first cat cafe, permanent cat cafe. You are there right now. Unfortunately, you all are closed, but you're still rescuing cats and finding homes for them, right?
We are. We have a few adoption rescue partners that we partner up with where we take in cats. We have a very lovely, large foster network right now that we're adding to. And basically we take in cats and we disperse them into our foster homes. And then, some members of the team are definitely still working to interview people, to screen foster homes, to screen homes and everything like that. But, the professional is on her way with an outfit change.
Oh, wow. This is like the Cher Christmas special or something, or it's a dated reference.
Yeah, so Christina can answer more questions about Meow Parlor. As much as I love to be, I'm her partner, and I am not a partner at Meow Parlor, but I am definitely a huge supporter of, the logistics, as I call it. I tell people I'm the transport guy, so I like to transport everybody here.
So Simon, how old is Sprinkles?
Sprinkles is 1 month old and very hungry. She's very hungry. And she latched. Hold on, let me get. She loves her milk.
Oh my God. So cute.
Good angle here. She loves her milk.
So we've had her since she was born.
What a cutie. So caring for newborn kittens is a very specific thing. And I know Christina, I should mention, is also the founder of something called Cat Camp, which today is Galaxy Jackson's Cat Camp. Some of you might have heard of it. And you've got classes always on how to care for newborn kittens. So, but Sprinkles looks like is Sprinkles a boy or a girl?
She's a lady.
Sprinkles is a female cat. Okay.
She is.
Female kitten. So when will Sprinkles be available for adoption?
So Sprinkles will be available.
Sorry, buddy.
She's too excited. When she hits 2 pounds, which is usually around 2 months old, she'll be old enough to get spayed. And once she gets spayed, then she can go up for adoption. Okay. So it depends on how much weight she gains in the next month.
And then Meow Parlor you do a handful of things. So you are a 501c3. So you are always raising money. So if anyone would like to donate to Meow Parlor, we'll be sharing all the links to Meow Parlor. You are always looking for foster parents, and you also help place cats in permanent homes. And folks can find all of this information on your website, right, Christina?
Yeah. find us at meowparlor.com.
Okay.
Oh, are you full, buddy?
Already.
All right. Oh, no.
So cute. How many times a day does Sprinkle get fed?
So Sprinkle should get fed probably every 4 to 5 hours now.
Wow, that's a lot of work.
Is
Okay.
just on the cusp of being able to be weaned.
Mhm.
So in the next week or so, we'll introduce her to solids and we'll see how she feels about it.
Okay. And can you tell what the cat's personality will be eventually when they're this young?
Honestly, you can usually tell right when they're born. If they're very fussy, or very chill, that carries over for a pretty long time. And so you can identify them, all of those traits basically from birth, and you can work on them to adjust them to make them, more, I guess, easier for adopters. So if this one has always been one that purrs a lot.
Mm-hmm. If we maybe quiet down a little bit, I'll put her little mouth by the microphone.
Oh, there we go. Sprinkles is purring. Very cute. Christina, for folks who think that they might want to foster a cat or 2 or 3, what makes a good foster parent for a cat?
So we're looking for foster homes who understand that these are rescue cats. They're not going to come perfect, out of the box. There's reasons why they're in our care. Sometimes, they're very young like this. Sometimes it's behavioral stuff. Sometimes it's like an incompatibility with their owner or all these different things. Sometimes they just came off the street. There's a lot of different reasons for why cats are looking for homes. So we're just asking for people to come, knowing that that's the case, and knowing that what their responsibility is to be the perfect wing woman, usually wing woman, to these cats, to help them, get to a better place, to be adoptable, and then to really just sell. So when we're saying hey, tell us more about this cat, they're sending us these beautiful photos. They're telling us all the great things that we do. We have a foster home who had never fostered cats before. And within a week, she was like, oh, he does high fives. He does all these tricks. He responds to hands. And I was like, I've never heard of anyone doing that. And I was like, that's amazing. This is so awesome. So we just want people to come with an open mind, and to be ready to save lives.
Look at that little belly.
He's got a little milk belly now. She's got a little milk belly.
So cute. Oh.
And a built-in 6-pack. That's right. She's so adorable.
I love it. It looks like DNA.
So cute. So we are going to meet one of the foster moms next.
Oh.
Can you tell us who the foster mom is who we're about to meet?
She is my sister, Caryn, who honestly, she was with us the night that we found Mr. Socks.
She was.
But was one of those people who are like, well, I don't know how I feel about cats.
I'm sorry, buddy.
And this past year, during the pandemic, has gone full blown. I love cats. She adopted her first cat this year, and is now fostering like crazy. So basically, once the kittens hit around this age, they go over to Caryn, and Caryn takes over, loving them, teaching them all these different things and getting them ready for their home.
She gets them so super socialized. They end up just loving human beings. And it's one of those things where it's you just can't teach that. It's very pleasant, So to have cats that just really want to be with a human being.
That's all Caryn's job.
Yeah, that's her job.
So let's meet Caryn. Caryn, are you out there? Hi, Caryn. It's so nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you guys too. So these are all the kittens. They're kind of napping right now.
Can you tell us who's in the room?
Sure, of course. Okay, so we have 4 kittens. The orange one is Sandwich, and then this brown one is Yoda. Here, this long-haired black one is Kogepan, and then this black and white one is Biscuit.
They are all conked out. Did you just feed them?
They were actually just playing like 10 minutes ago and then they knocked out.
How funny. Caryn, if it doesn't disturb them too much, could you hold each of them a little closer to the camera? We're going to try to find some homes for these babies. If anyone out there is interested in these kittens, you can apply to be a foster or to adopt one of them. As we mentioned, you can go to Meow Parlor, the website. Kat or Donna is going to share the link with you right now. So who is this?
So this is Sandwich. He's orange, but he has like orange spots on his belly too. So he's a little patterned. He's got blue eyes with a little bit of green around his pupils. If I were to describe his personality, do you guys want to hear about the personality?
Absolutely.
Sure. So he's pretty muscular for a cat. I never knew cats could be muscular, but it's because he's very active. You could tell he's like the leader of the group. He's like someone you hire to hype up the party, and he gets everyone excited, even if they were all sleeping like 5 seconds ago. And when he walks, you could tell he's really confident. And he also knows how to make the best of every situation. So of course they get really nice fancy toys. And you know, when you buy the cats all these nice expensive toys and they like the cheapest thing, he loved a green bean that he stole off the kitchen counter. And we tried to grab the green bean bag. We're like, you can't play with this. And then he actually put it to the carpet, pulled the edge of the carpet over the green bean. He's like, no, this is mine. I love this. So
pretty smart.
Okay.
You know, he's very active.
Sydney, one of our viewers, is asking, she said, I hope you're a writer. Do you write? You're so good with these descriptions.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm actually in science, so I don't write very much.
Maybe this could be a second career for you. All right.
I'm
So
writing about cats.
who else do we have there?
So this one is Yoda. Yoda is like a brown and black cat. So he's got like swirls as his pattern. He's got blue eyes.
Aw.
I would say he's a really perfect balance of playful and calm. So he's a cat that if he sees you working, he won't bother you. But if he sees you lounging on the bed, he'll come over, he'll rub his head on your hand, he'll ask for cuddles. And my favorite part about him is that he likes to scream. And like when he screams, his voice cracks, kind of like when a boy is going through puberty, you know how their voice cracks? His voice cracks every time he screams at you. And what he just wants your attention. So if you look over at him when he's screaming, he'll flop onto his side and be like, okay, pet me now.
My cat Dusty does that. She's very vocal when she wants attention. Caryn, how old are these kittens?
I think they're around 2 months now, reaching around that size. They're a little bit different in age. So Kogepon's actually 2 weeks younger, I believe. And the Sandwich is the oldest.
Can we get a peek of the other two kittens?
Yes. So this is Kogepon. She is a little bit of a long-haired cat, and she has green and blue eyes. So she's the youngest, but she loves attention, and she loves to be right by you all the time. She'll want to be by the laptop. She'll want to be by your hand, and she loves to sleep. It's really weird, but she loves to sleep on my clavicle. So what you might have to do is what I started to do was wear a sweater with a hood. So I put her in the hood pocket because she just wants to be by your face pretty much.
Oh, that's so cute. And then who's our last one?
So the last one is the sweetest. He's Biscuit. He's really quiet, so I've never heard him complain or anything.
Aw.
He reminds me of like a very sweet, shy.
Can we get one more? Can we get one more look at Biscuit?
Sure.
So you said Biscuit is the sweetest. Why is Biscuit the sweetest?
I would say he's the sweetest because he's just very sweet and shy and quiet, but he's very polite and he'll ask to sleep in your lap. So if you want a lap cat, he's 100% the lap cat that will lounge in your lap for hours. And also, whenever I walk to the bed, he's the first to run to the bed, and his favorite spot every night is to sleep on my chest or my stomach.
Aw. Oh my gosh. Caryn, how is it really hard to say goodbye to these kittens when someone adopts them?
It is really hard to say goodbye. I think the first pair is always the hardest. So the first pair, I sobbed all day. Yeah, and I called my boyfriend and I was sobbing, and then his mom heard and she's like, why is she crying? And it's like, oh, she just, had to adopt away the cats that she was fostering. But you get used to it because they're going to a great home.
Oh, tell us the kittens' names one more time. A few folks are asking.
So this one is Sandwich. This one is Yoda. So I know someone asked about the third kitten, so that one was Kogepan. So Kogepan is based off of a Japanese character. So if you just look up Kogepan in Japanese, it's like a bread character. And then this one is Biscuit.
Oh, they're so cute. So Christina and Simon, are they going to be up for adoption soon?
Yeah, so they should be getting their surgery within the next probably 2 weeks, and then they'll be up for adoption.
Okay, terrific. And Caryn, you mentioned you're in science. What do you do?
I was doing research actually. So I was in the lab at NYU researching leukemia, and then now I'm just doing a master's in biomedical science.
Wow. Okay. Very impressive. So we're not going to find you working at Macaron Parlour one day necessarily.
I'll help out, and you can't get rid of me and like the kittens because I want to always be around them. So I'll be helping out at least.
Well, because we canceled all our holiday markets, Caryn's actually secret weapon very, very good at selling macarons. So
she's one of our best sales.
She's one of our best salespeople, and it's very weird. It was a talent we didn't know she had.
Look at how good she is at selling kittens.
I want them all. So, all right. So if anyone has any questions about adoption or fostering, you can ask us now while we still have Caryn and Simon and Christina with us. Caryn, in your estimation, what makes a good foster cat parent?
I think a good foster cat parent is someone who can pay attention to them at all times. They have very nuanced needs. And so being able to pick on small things like maybe you notice they're not eating as often, or maybe you notice that they're not as playful is really important, especially during this critical point in their life when they're still growing, but also very vulnerable to a lot of things. I think just loving them, being happy, kissing them. I kiss them every night, being okay with sleeping with them. It's not a hard job to ask that you cuddle and kiss cats, but just be really loving.
Oh, well, thank you for taking care of those babies. They're so cute. My cat's a rescue cat, so I really appreciate all the work that all the cat rescue folks, it's a big community. So all of you in this community, you do really wonderful work, and we appreciate it so much. Simon and Christina, let's see, Sprinkle one last time we could say goodbye. Sprinkle is plural, right?
Is it? It's whatever you want.
Okay.
We're not too picky.
Oh,
Neither is she. Look at all her little sprinkles.
Her little belly. Her little belly sprinkles. I guess it is plural then.
Well, she has one sprinkle on her nose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so she's got her one little sprinkle on her nose, so it's cute. Yeah.
Well, Simon and Christina, thank you so much for what you both do. I mean, the fact that you found homes for over 800 cats is so remarkable. So just from all of us in the Bomb Squad, thank you for that. Like I said, Meow Parlor is a 501c3. So if you would like to donate to them, you can. The links are on the website for that as well. I am a proud supporter of Meow Parlor, and I have to show you what they sent me. They sent me a candle with my cat Dusty on the candle. So if you want to show the world that you are a cat lady, that is definitely one way to do it. And Meow Parlor also has a lot of fun merch, so you should check out the merch. And they also have older cats up for adoption. Let's just take a minute and talk about the older cats, right, Christina and Simon?
Yeah, we do have a lot of older cats. So their stories are typically different. A lot of times they come from homes, especially during the pandemic. There are a lot of people who can no longer afford to take care of their pets. It's not that their pets aren't loved. It's just that, we're all in a tough situation. Sometimes they are found outside and you really don't know what their history is, but the adults need our love too. One of the great things about adults is that their personalities are set. So whatever they are when you meet them, that's how they will be forever. So it's one of those things where you're like, well, I want, a lap cat. I want a cat who is bossy, or I want a cat who can talk. Get an adult. And they're calm. They make really, really good pandemic partners because they hang out with you. And kittens are wild. They're a lot of energy. They jump all over the place. They climb up your back. They do all these things, and they turn off your meeting and disrupt everything. But adults usually don't do that.
And all of our kittens, we do have a rule to adopt you could
To adopt them in pairs.
so that they can grow up with each other and have a companion and kind of have their energy kind of play off each other instead of off your couch or off your leg, so.
Got it. That is good to know. You can go to Meow Parlor, the website, and check out the kittens and the adult cats that are up for adoption. You can also follow them on Instagram at Meow Parlor. All right, you 3, and how many kittens? 5? You 8? Say goodbye. Thank you so much. Caryn, it was so nice to meet you. I hope we get to meet you again. And I hope we find some great homes for these adorable kittens. And Simon and Christina, sending you love from the Bomb Squad. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you from all of us at Sprinkles.
Oh. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, Bomb Squad. We are now going to welcome Erin Jeanne McDowell for our finale. I think some of you know this is happening. Erin is the author. Yay! Erin is the author of the book on pie, which is one of the season's big bestsellers. It's a gorgeous book on how to be a better baker of pies. Erin is just a pie genius. We were so lucky to have some demos and events with her when we did our Friendsgiving event last month. And we are so thrilled, Erin, that you're back to
thank you for having me.
send us off.
I wasn't entirely prepared for this request, and at the same time, I was always prepared for it because I was actually planning to sing a song to my family because they're all in Kansas, and this is my first year that I'm not going to Kansas for the holidays, which of course is very sad, but I'm also very grateful. My family's healthy, and us taking the time apart is probably one of the reasons why we're all still healthy. So I decided I wanted to maybe sing a song for them because everyone in my family plays instruments. And I should clarify that not well. We still get really excited when we all finish at the same time. But we play in what we call the family band. And the family band usually only gets to really practice at Christmas, like once or twice a year. So anyway, one of the things we do in the family band is that we play a lot of bluegrassy songs that only have one verse. And so what we do is we just go around the room and everyone takes turns making up a verse to elongate the song because we don't know that many songs. So I took one of my favorite Christmas songs that also only has really one verse, and I added a couple of verses kind of for the times that we're in. So I thought that's a good way we could finish off today.
And Erin, I should note, we also wanted to give some equal time to the dog lovers in the Bomb Squad.
Yes, Brimley is here for you. Also sleeping. He's
up.
There he is. Hey Brims, you want to say hi to the Bomb Squad? He's like pretty happy by the fire, not surprisingly. Brimley is a great dog, and you know, he loves cats also. I have to be honest, I wasn't prepared to follow acts like Sprinkles and Sandwich. Like, you put me up in a tough situation here. Ooh, yes,
Tough
he's getting
opening
comfy.
act. Well, Erin, I am going to disappear for a few minutes so we can enjoy your beautiful voice and that's a ukulele, right?
It's the ukulele. Like I said, I love to sing and play, but it's purely a hobby. So I hope you all can bear with me if I am not 100% perfect, but that's in the spirit of the holidays. We're just gonna like sing a little song and feel good this afternoon, all of us together.
Oh, you're such a good sport. All right, well, have fun, and I will see you in a few minutes. Bye, Brimley.
All right. Brimley's gonna sleep right through this, no matter how entertaining I am. So the song I wanted to sing is kind of my version of I'll Be Home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. You will see me soon. I'll walk right up and give you a hug, and maybe a big old kiss too. We'll sit inside for hours without a mask in sight. I'll be home for Christmas, even without I'll be home for Christmas, sure as I sing this tune. We'll share a spoon and play games too, and we'll mean it when we say see you soon. Christmas joy is with us, even in different rooms. I'll be home for Christmas, even if it's only on Zoom. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Don't care about snow or mistletoe or presents under the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I struggled a little there, but you get the sentiment. Whether you're at home or whether you're far away, we are all together, and the Bomb Squad's all together right now, or at least a lot of us.
Oh, we are. Oh my God, Erin, you moved me to tears.
Oh.
That was so beautiful. Yeah, the holidays are very different for everybody this year. And I know a lot of us are not going to be with all the folks we normally get to be with. But we are grateful to have each other. Erin, you sing like an angel. It's been so nice getting to know you this winter. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you so much. And I thank you for asking me to do it, because I get very nervous to play in front of people, but it brings me a lot of happiness. That's why I'm smiling this big. So Thanks for letting me do it, even though Brimley is clearly bored out of his mind. That was beautiful, but Brimley doesn't care.
Well, Erin, you have so many talents. Again, thank you for writing some lyrics for us and singing that beautiful song. And as I mentioned earlier, Erin is the author of the book on pie. If you love baking and you love cookbooks, it is a wonderful addition to your cookbook collection. It also makes a great gift if you're still looking for gifts for the people in your life. So Erin, thank you. Brimley, baby, thank you so much. You can follow both Erin and Brimley on Instagram. Brimley does have his own account. Dusty is very jealous that Brimley has an account.
He's getting too much screen time, clearly.
He doesn't. All right,
Thanks,
Erin,
Carrie.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
Bye. All right, gang, it's almost over. I would like to welcome 2 more people to the screen to say goodbye. With me, Kat Gorelli. Kat is one of our producers at Radio Cherry Bomb and our editor and our engineer through all of our Friendsgiving and holiday programming.
I was grabbing my baby. He might eat my AirPod. But,
and I would also like to welcome Donna Yen to the screen. Yay! Hi, Donna. Donna, your sound is off.
I have it back on. I don't have a kitty, and now I really want a dog or a cat. Oh, this whole
well,
made me want a cat or a dog.
yeah.
Well, you're in LA, so you can't have one of the Meow Parlor cats, but I have a feeling there are animals for adoption in Los Angeles. I just want to take a moment to thank Kat and to thank Donna. They did so much work to make the Holiday Baking Extravaganza possible, behind the scenes and in front of the camera. Donna hosted a lot of the demos, and Donna, you were so great. And Kat, thank you for just behind the scenes, making sure everything went off without a glitch. I can't thank you two enough.
Yeah, thank you. It's been amazing. We've had some really great events, and this one was, a dream event. I love cats. I love brownies. So, and singing, Erin. Erin's still on. Erin, you did fantastic. That was so beautiful.
Erin, that made my day.
Yeah.
That made my day too. You can see Erin if you go to Erin's Instagram, she does have a few other songs that she sings, and she really does have a voice like an angel. So definitely check those out. All right, Bomb Squad, this is it for 2020. I can't believe this is our last event of 2020. I just want to thank all of you. I mean, every day we are so grateful for the Bomb Squad and everyone in our community. We are very blessed to have a community of wonderful, talented, caring individuals, and that includes all of you. I want to thank our sponsors, Kerrygold and Amazon Home. Thank you so much for just supporting us and making all of this programming free for everybody. It really was a treat. And I know a lot of you tuned in to every single program that we did, and we appreciate that so much. So that's it. All right. So I guess we'll see everybody in 2021. We have a lot of fun things planned for 2021. So stay tuned. You know, you can sign up for our newsletter. You can become a Cherry Bomb member. Find it. That way you won't miss anything that Cherry Bomb is working on. I want to thank the rest of the team behind the scenes because they do so much work as well. We've got Audrey, Michelle, Cha, Nancy, and our wonderful interns. We are lucky to have a lot of great interns as well. That's it. All right, Kat and Donna, it was good to see you both. Bomb Squad, happy holidays.